I want to know what part of the story I just walked into, and that would be super, super cool. The lighting in here is fantastic. The sight line and like the pathway is written for me here. So this is great. Today we are doing advanced design. This would be part of the Mentor Feedback Festival with me, Space Glitter Unicorn. So let's get to it. So, what do we look for as far as like general design? And the question is, what is advanced game design artistically? Advanced game design artistically is the craft of using visual storytelling, spatial composition, lighting, and environmental cues to subtly guide players while immersing them in a believable and emotionally resonant world. It's about more than just making things look good. It's about designing a space where every artistic choice serves gameplay clarity, player flow, and emotional tone. At this level, art isn't just decoration, it's communication. You use contrast, silhouette, shapes, light, color, motion, and framing to control what the player feels and where they look without needing UI arrows or dialogue prompts. It's designed with intention behind every corner, prop, and shadow. And next, we're going to be talking a little bit about sightlines. Sightlines are invisible paths your eyes naturally follow when observing a scene. In a game design, they they're usually to direct player attention towards important objects, paths, or gameplay elements. Effective sightlines guide without the player realizing they're being guided. For example, a tall tower in the distance draws the eye and becomes natural destination. A shaft of light in a dark cave frames the only exit. A broken fence points towards a hidden path. So let's see the first world. The first world is super space. So let's pull that up really quick. Is World Cubes in the building? Yes, there you are. Cool. Let's talk about your world. And if you guys want to play along, feel free to. Okay. So I really, really want to talk about this lobby because I quite like it. When we're landing into this world, I am looking right at the title. There is just a straight and literal path to where you start the game. I think this is brilliant. I like the liminal feel to this. There's not too much. It's like super simple but framed really nice. Hello, tabs. Who else is that? Tractor tank. Let's go. Let's play. You look ready to play. All right. So next thing I want to talk about is so we just talked about framing and composition, especially here in this lobby area, right? Like you're looking straight at this. It's literally we're going straight for it. I really do like this like straightforward path. And yeah, the UI is actually pretty fantastic. Okay. So this kind of reminds me a little bit like Halo. If you guys are seasoned gamers, you know that Halo is pretty classic. You have lots of places to hide in, right? I do love the simplicity of the design. There's a lot of repeated textures, but it doesn't look too overpowering. And then you have some sight lines. The only thing I have is maybe possibly for this general space, I would like to for there to be more open sight lines because there is something about this that maybe we need like something a little more structured. Other than that, I really love this layout. There's lots of places to hide, but there's another thing that I'd like to note for this world, right? Worked on the latest Halo. It was a journey. Ooh, there's a lot of white in the world, maybe some color. Yes. So I was about to say that. Some like maybe some breakup in space, even though I do like this simplistic liminal type of design. I do feel like maybe possibly there could you can add some movement and some color in certain areas. So let's say like maybe you added some like power ups and there's like I don't know, a floating coin or something just to break up the space, you know. You're definitely the artist, so whatever makes sense to you in your gameplay would work perfectly. All right, all right. Let me shoot you. Alrighty. So let's talk about it. What do you guys think of the lighting, the contrast and lighting in this world? Sound off in the chat or unmute yourself. It still feels like a blocked out world and not a finished map. And why do you feel it's unfinished? Because this right here, I do feel like has this game and space has a lot of potential. You could put a lot into this world. I really do like how it started off. I really do like this space and where it's going. I really like the different textures that they have. Okay. So let's go back to Janeko. Why do you feel it's not finished? Like what would you do to the space to make it feel finished? I think the lack of contrast makes the enemy identification easier as a design choice. Okay. Have light give off some shadows through some of the blocked out openings. It needs more location markers so you can call out plays. I like that. So yeah, you kind of need a sense of direction because everything generally looks the same, right? I mean, you could get lost in it. That might be part of the gameplay, but really if you want to make heads or tails of where you are, maybe some markers will do you good. It could use a bit more colored shading. I agree. Regard sightlines and player guidance, it's little uniform. Oh, I think I died. Um, Even though it looks clean, make a scoring ranking system. Okay. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I do love this design. It does need some like breathing and movement, even though these visual cues right here is actually super duper super dope. I do love it. It feels very futuristic and clean. I did not know it was a shooter game. There was no indication. Okay. So yeah, like how can we call out, like how can we showcase that this is actually a shooter game? You know, what are the visual cues that you would do as a hint? Some animated ornaments. What is the story? Maybe at a training range. Well, in this lobby, there's tons of space. I think there is definitely a lot of room for different activities in here. So there is tons of room for tons of potential, really. Not sure what this is. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's just more space, lots of space. I mean, I kind of like the blue, even though yeah, it maybe the blue kind of washes it out a little bit, but maybe hints of space. You know, you have the clouds, but maybe like a faded planet out in, you know, out in the distance would make it look, because I mean I'm referring to Halo because I do love the way the maps are designed, and you know you see that really huge, obviously because it's Halo, you have the huge halo over in the sky, you know, then that indicates a more sci-fi and futuristic setting. Right. The blue does. However, I don't know. I'm gonna argue that because I do like the gray and the blue setting for sure. But You guys are the artists, you season to taste. I do feel like maybe a little hint of space within the skybox would actually work perfect. It's a fun map. It's a super space. I kind of like the consistency to the blocks. I do love the blocks. You know, the blocks remind me of very much like an Unreal Engine like starter template with these square textures for sure. I do like how clean it is and it's just straightforward. All right, let's talk more about the map. Let's talk about framing, composition, and oops, am I starting the game or what? How do I start the game? There you go. Yeah. And you know what? Now that we have some more like features, what about some added elements like NPCs, stuff like that, just to add a little bit of movement? And I don't mean like NPCs like the avatars. I mean like maybe little robots and stuff like that, just to add some life into it. I know it's a very simplistic setting. So yeah, let's talk about, hold on a second. We did talk about landmarks, color and value. I did speak on motion and animation. Oh, I died. And environmental storytelling. So we did touch on some environmental storytelling. Oh, there is a bot. Hello. Do you do something? Hello. Hi. My name's Glitter. You shoot you. You do nothing. Okay. So yeah, it was nice, good ideas. Yeah, adding some moving platform maybe to allow you to get higher. I like that. I like that. So kind of like an elevator situation where you're going up and down, or teleports, you know. I know that's kind of like obvious, but I feel like teleports in this situation, finding some like magical teleports to get to like random places would be super cool. Um and yeah, I all in all, I do see that this world has lots of really cool potential. I could see lots of people having fun in here, doing like tournaments and stuff like that. The overall composition, I would clean this up a bit. It's a little inconsistent. I died. It's a little inconsistent, but I do feel like you could definitely dress this up really nice with everything mentioned. Um Pyong pyong. And yeah, you could allow mobile web users to look down. Oh my gosh, sniper style. Yeah. Sniping people is fun. I've definitely played some some Call of Duty. I stink at Call of Duty. However, I do still play, and yeah, it's definitely fun. Snipers are definitely fun. The blocks look very modular. I could see you animating them into temperatures. Yeah. Adding that movement and adding that like just making it more dynamic, would be super cool. Mounted turrets in high places. Yeah, you have so much potential in those high places that you can't get to, you know? You could hide like super abilities in those places too. And so many things, so many options you can do. I mean, of course within reasonable capacity too, because you do have to worry about optimization and stuff. But all in all, there's so much potential in this game. So definitely keep it up and keep working at it. I've got ideas for different levels to have to okay. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So the next map could be some like just like remixed, you know. I don't know. I definitely feel like you should play some Halo. Bring your friends and invite me. I'll play Halo too. All right, everybody. Are you still with me? Sound off in the chat. Let me get some Emojis. Let's go. Right? Send that invite. Let us know when you're playing Halo. Oh yeah. All right. Cool. 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 You know, it's good to get some inspiration from the masters. You know, they know what they're doing. All right. So um, let's get out of here for a second. Yeah, great job, World Cubes. Keep it up. All right. So, um this is definitely a slide from my dear friend Mike the Guru. And yeah, I loved it so much from his previous workshop, so I'd like to utilize it here. So let's talk a little about a little bit about what we had seen. So I would like to kind of like reiterate what we did see in that gameplay. So we were talking about moving elements. We talked about more space theme. Okay. What else? It is an overall great map design. Sightlines. Yes, definitely like within that. I mean, you are going to make more maps, so which is great. You can make endless maps if you wanted to for this game, but definitely better sight lines, so like something a little more organized. And when I think about that, I think about the old school primitive games in Horizon. What is it, Arena Clash? You know, you have kind of like a even playing field, left and right are basically mirroring each other. Something a little bit like that. So and also some visual cues so you can know where you are within the map would be super nice. Some power ups, some movement, something that makes the space feel like it's alive and it's breathing, you know, would be super dope. Um and yeah, play more Halo because I'm definitely inspired by your world, especially with the dynamics of Halo and PvP and all that. I think you got something good going on there. All right, guys. So let's move on. More sound and movement and background mountains could be cool. You know, all right. So if you're talking about overall, like environmental design and mountains and stuff, like okay, so you have mountains, now put some like idle spaceships like in the sky, you know, that are really far away, bump up that fog a little bit so they actually feel like there's like some depth of field. Oh my goodness, that would look breathtaking. You know, you could really dress it up that way, so it would be super cool. It's so many things, so many things. That would be mega theme to do. Yeah. And think about the lore. You know, like what is the story you're trying to tell? And I think that will help you in get to the right direction as far as the world's concerned, you know? Yeah. Tell that story. What's happening here? Why is it so clean and liminal, you know? All the lines are pretty lined up really nicely. I do agree. It's really nice. Okay. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a style and it's a good one. Yeah. Okay. So let's get to the next world. And this one ooh, is by Josh Cap 510. And it's called Stonehearth. And
Well, it was called Stonehearth.
oh, now it's Dungeon of the Cursed Forge.
It is a work in progress. It is a work in progress.
So let's talk about this one. All right. So I'm going in. I invite you guys to come on in with me. Why did you change the name?
So I changed the name. Stonehearth was really just a working name on it, and it looks like I dropped into a different instance,
Oh no. How
which
many
is
people
weird.
is allowed?
18. So it was a working, just a working title. I usually iterate through a few of those in a project. As I started to sort of develop more of the backstory and lore of it, is where I came into the Dungeon of the Cursed Forge. So as I sort of start developing the backstory and what's the depth of the tale and lore of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about the story. So, hey, get it, Shirkadees. Oh, oh, get it,
Nice.
get it, get it. I mean, first off, the music is compelling.
Yeah.
It's dramatic, and actually, I have to turn it down a little.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me. That's better. All right, maybe you want to lower it just a little bit, just
I
a
already
little.
have that note on the
The-
sheet. So this is one of the projects that keeps getting pushed back as, different competitions get announced and stuff like that. But it's been one
Fair.
actually initially started building in a Unity for a project on that platform, through that platform.
Nice.
So, but it's like, oh, let me figure out what the workflow is on sort of porting it into Horizons, and also trying to see how far I can push it as far as scale and still keep it performant. I mean, what's in this iteration is about a third of where it is in development right now, as far as just map size. So
Got it.
it's sort of drawing on, inspired by a lot of the dungeon crawlers, trying to recreate a D&D campaign basically, and get
I
in,
like it.
have some puzzle rooms, have some escape things, as well as having, sort of team-based combat.
Okay.
So,
All right, so let's take a stroll in here. Let's see. All right, so number one, I am loving the entrance here.
yeah.
Who's this guy?
That guy is someone that will hopefully be animated
Get
at
it,
some
get it,
point,
get it, get it, get it. Hey,
That's
hey.
actually that guy right there is straight from Mixmo. Straight from Mixmo.
That's
Uh
okay. So
yeah.
like this is
No,
great
I love
use
some
of
of their stuff.
AI
Yep.
to make characters,
Yeah.
especially compelling characters. Is like why not?
Hmm.
You can absolutely do that, you know? And he looks, is he friendly? Is he a friendly?
It's that will probably eventually be sort of the guide to the game. Get in, have him do sort of the player onboarding and give them, the instructions of
Oh,
what to do.
fantastic. Yep, I do love that. All right, so here would be where you get all your information,
Hmm.
some audio, like audible clues.
Yeah,
And yeah,
definitely. I'm also using the NPC LL to try to get that worked in. So there'll be the vocal component as well.
yeah. Samson Crooks says he should hate dancing. Maybe he's very cranky,
Right?
like, hey,
Could be.
stop
Yeah,
dancing in
yeah,
my lobby.
yeah.
You know, and here you do some training. All right,
Yeah.
so there is a little hint of that. So what do you guys think about this entrance? Before I move any further, what do you guys think of this entrance? This world looks fabulous. I love the way
Thank
it
you. Thank you.
feels. Nice. It looks great.
Yeah, I
Okay.
wanted to, I sort of set up the entrance on that bend purposefully, one to sort of just help with spawn and loads, as well as sort of set up that grand reveal as the
Yes, the
player
grand
comes around the
reveal
corner.
is what
Yeah.
I am looking at. The grand reveal. But one thing I kind of wish I could see, right? Like I kind of want to see the title.
Hmm.
So I come out here
Yeah.
and I'm like, and then it's like whatever, whichever title you want to use here, or
Right.
like even like chapter one,
Right.
and like something like that that tells me, okay, I am walking into a story,
Hmm.
even though it's like I'm gonna go into battle, but I want to know what part of the story I just walked into, and that would be super super cool. The lighting in here, it's fantastic. The sight line and like the pathway. is written for me here. So this is great. Just now we need like some sort of like, all right, where are we? What am I doing here?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
even though this guy is about to tell us, I would like to see something that tells me, hey, like, you know, I'm about to walk into that really dramatic storytelling. And here we go. And it's obvious we have to go down these stairs. I'm a little scared. Is there something that's gonna pop me?
Not yet.
It's
Not
a
yet.
it's a great
Or
use
maybe
of
there is.
these. Whoa. It's a great use of these fire VFX for
Hmm.
sure.
And what I'm
Okay.
doing is I have a script running that's pulling a player location and just bringing them in around the players. So I
Right.
can throw in, tons of them and still keep performance up.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about this. Now I'm kind of lost. Is this purpose, like, is this like on purpose? Like, am I supposed to just randomly go places, or do you want me to go a certain way in
Eventually,
the world?
this is actually going to be a level 2. So the first level is going to have more of the onboarding on exploring, but I want to have the labyrinth. I want to have the labyrinth. Right now, if you follow the direction of the lights, it's going to get you where you should go. More lights the other way.
Okay, there's an extra light here. Okay, so yeah.
But then all the rooms, there's going to be combatants in the rooms, and you'll have to figure out puzzles to gain, new artifacts, there'll be torches. So you'll have to, find the fuel for your torches and things like that.
This would make a really scary. Hey, hello, friend. This would make a really scary, like, medieval backroom situation.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
but we may have way too many of those, of that genre going
Right,
around. But
right, right.
but yeah, like, I could see this.
I think
I
you saw a
think,
rat.
well,
It's
I mean,
possible.
you know,
It's a new bug in the system.
no, if you
Oh
did
yeah.
have a rat, that would make it really believable.
Yeah, and
Like,
those are some of the layers I am already planning on adding in.
and you don't need a sculpted rat. Let's say,
No.
like, if you were to kind of like hit a trigger here, a
Mm-hmm.
rat would scurry off into the
Mm-hmm.
distance, and it would
Yep.
be on like a plane or something.
Yep.
There you go. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to waste a lot of geometry, and like,
Right.
it's going to be obvious that there is a rat over there. It's like, you could even put audio cues for that as well, and would add some movement into the space, because me, I like the space feeling like
Mm-hmm.
it's alive and it's breathing.
Alive and deep. And some of the
That's
things, because I'm
correct.
trying to see how big I can make this. This current iteration doesn't have it loaded in, but the latest one that's just not published yet is converted everything over to LOD so I can help with
Absolutely.
performance that way.
Yes.
Apart from the meta assets I have in here, everything else in here is running off 5 textures.
Mhm.
So
Not bad.
oh, basic game loop. What percentage do you feel have done in ideation? Maybe 50. I'm just sort of a lot of this was an experiment on the modeling and build side, just because I wanted to see would I be able to make something as big as I wanted to with the visual representation I wanted. And quite honestly, the game side kind of came second and has sort of really the parts I figured out have really driven some of the changes I've done. Oh, there will be treasure
Nice.
chests. Yes. Yeah.
And did you answer Jules for the basic game loop? What percentage do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you
I'd
did
say
answer
maybe
that.
about 50 right now. Still sort of ideating through parts of it, and most of it's still on paper at this point. I haven't started implementing.
All right, fantastic. Is this a new door, or did I walk through
That's a
this
new
already?
door. No, that's
Hey,
a new door.
it's a new door. Okay,
Oh.
let's
Oh,
go.
don't worry. I get lost in the map sometimes. So
Okay. Whoa. Oh, I don't have any weapons.
you don't worry. They're not scripted yet.
Oh, I want to fight. Finish the
Oh,
game.
give it time, glitter. Give it time, glitter. Yeah.
Oh, oh, we're oh
Oh,
wait,
we got
wait,
a
wait.
dance
We're
battle
we're
going.
gonna dance battle. Hold up.
So
That's right.
with the particle
Eight,
systems,
eight.
so those are being brought in just around the players. So yeah, so a lot of those, like the ones at the entrance right now, aren't in the world anymore. So yeah.
Got it, got it. Okay, so let's look at, are you blowing budget for the particle systems, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are with the torches. I'm not gonna lie. There's a
Oh
lot of
yeah. Oh
torches.
yeah, there's a lot of torches. A
They're
lot of
great.
torches.
They're wonderful, but yeah, like I do notice that. But I I think if you're going to continue and make more like more spaces in here,
Hmm. Yeah.
maybe like I'm not a scripter, but like, bringing in the maps, one at a time
Hmm.
rather than having
Yes.
them all in,
Yes.
would
Yeah.
definitely help with optimization.
Ooh. Oh yes, there will be some worlds, rooms with walls closing in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Something I
Uh,
love.
a great example, especially this reminds me so much of it, is Citadel. Like
Hmm.
this game could definitely be Citadel level, and I do
Hmm.
love that game, by the way. I think it only fits how many people though? It it
Two,
it
isn't
only fits
Citadel?
two
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of
There's
meat
a
and
lot.
potatoes,
Yeah.
a lot of meat and potatoes in that game. But I could see this working somewhat the way that works. In a way as best.
Yeah.
No, what
No.
happened? So yeah. All right. So let's see. They added a mage. I must have missed that.
Hmm.
Are you using popcorn effects?
All the
Yeah, those are
VFX are
default.
straight default. Yeah.
All right. Trapdoors and pitfalls would be fun.
Hmm.
Have the walls closing in on you. Seems pretty solid design wise, has much potential. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this definitely looks like it's telling a story. There is a lore. I want to know what the lore is because I'm
Oh.
like mega nerd and I do love these themes for sure. Fantasy theme, which would who's this guy?
That guy is another, hopefully can do
He's
more with in the future.
terrifying. Do I fight him? Please. I wish if I were to like hit my mouse button
There.
that I would punch him because
Oh.
I want my character to punch him. But
Yeah, and some of that is one of, looking at, potential future things,
yeah,
to implement more of that.
for
Yeah,
sure,
sit
for
on the
sure.
throne. Well, that's, sitting on the throne, that seems something like defeat the boss, you become the king.
Or
So,
the throne like moves aside and like it opens up like I don't know, some magical place.
wait, could you see the secret doorway behind the throne?
Wait, there is?
Not yet, there will be though.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. I was like, wait. I'll probably get stuck behind here. Probably. No, no,
Yeah,
no,
kick him in
no.
the shin. Yeah.
I'm stuck. All right, there we go. All right, cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
but
Very
this is,
cool.
a lot of this started with an experiment just as I like doing, how far can I push it? Like push it till it breaks and then dial it back.
Right, right.
And I've been surprised at how, like, when I run the metrics, I've been surprised at, even at its current state, this one that's right here without the LOD brought in and things like that, it's still operating. So
Right. Okay. I'm trying to open these doors.
no, they
Like
don't open yet. You got to give it time, Glitter. Got to give it time.
I'm impatient. All right, everybody finish your worlds, finish your
Yeah.
games because like I'm ready. I'm ready to play. What was it? The World Cubes game. I want to
Yeah.
do some PvP. I want to do some exploring in here. Find the skeleton key. Oh my gosh, have an animated
Oh
skeleton
yeah.
key
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like
Yeah. There's
floating somewhere,
definitely
like
there's
really
definitely
ominous.
like we came down the right side of this labyrinth. There's a whole nother side to it as well. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, another world with great potential.
And if anyone wants if you want to read the backstory, I can send it to anyone who's interested.
All right, let's do it. I want to know. Send it.
Okay.
Ship it. All right, everybody, if you're still with us, please drop an emoji. give big thumbs up to Josh. He did such a great job, especially with this setup. And also drop some emojis for world cubes too. Thank you guys for, for giving us these wonderful worlds to talk about. So let me get in here. Alrighty. So let's talk about four community callouts for this world. So somebody help me out. Which is one of the callouts that we did, which is a really important one. So there was great contrast and lighting. So I'm gonna just put that first. Great contrast and lighting. The lighting definitely sets the mood in this world. It really starts to give you like something emotional, like something that is like, all right, I'm about to get into action. I'm about to fight something, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of my early like just paper ideation on it was really trying to
Right.
focus on what's that environmental feel I want for it.
All right. Adding some titles. Thank you, Samson. Adding titles. Where am I? Where am I? Where do I go? All right. Another one. The environment is really good. Let's see. Let's see. Leading lines. Grand reveal was great. I did love the grand reveal. One thing for sure, like in the beginning, like when we got into like the dungeon chambers, I I know you had lights, but I do feel like maybe there needed to be a little more direction, especially in
Hmm.
that area. Yeah, you're probably going to remix like the orientation of everything, which is fine. Adding breadcrumbs. There you go. Yes. I like that. Right? To to give sorry. To give the player like a sense of direction on where they're going to go next. Like I know
So
you're not
one
done
of
with
the
it.
one of the things I have planned is there'll be a spell you can use, achievable spell
Oh.
that's gonna give you sort of that breadcrumb path. So, you can either, and that'll be something that you can either earn through
Yeah.
achievements or even just, IWP if you want some
Right.
extras.
And you know what? I would like to touch in on like the lore. So like you have something. I'd like some sort of
Mm.
progression
Hmm.
feedback. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Like you reached this level now to level 2 or something like that. I think that's really good. Some progression feedback. Lore books that tell a story. I mean, you could even oh my gosh, you could do so much. Like every time like you get to the next level, like you know how in right now the name of this type of frame escapes me, but like for example, like you get to a door and the door opens and you walk through, but then all of a sudden you see like a scrolling text is like, oh, well, welcome, traveler. Now you've reached this and that. And it gives like kind of like a hint of what the next chapter is going to be, you know? What do you call that? It's not a splash screen. It's like kind of like not an intermission. Oh my gosh, the name escapes me. It'll probably come to me later and I'm gonna be like, aha, that's what I wanted to say. You have the large
Mm.
scale and the medium scale, but I would like to see some small up close details. Yes.
Hmm.
Like some like maybe like a hidden chamber that also kind of has like little hints and stuff would be a cutscene. Thank you, Storming
Yes.
Decker.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, like a really like badass cutscene, especially if it's a mobile player too.
Hmm.
I mean, you could get really fancy with VR
Yeah.
as well, but especially in mobile, once they get to that cutscene, like you have like a really cool picture and like some. some of the lore. So as you're going through this dungeon crawler, you're still telling the story, and then you could just continue it. Oh my gosh, inspiring. Like definitely add some cutscenes, especially for that
Yeah.
for that mobile implementation, of course.
Yeah, and
Um,
my final goal is to have this both mobile and headset playable, but in mobile, definitely going to be using a camera for cutscenes, just because I
yeah.
love the look of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that would be fantastic, and it would look beautiful. It would look beautiful in definitely in world. Yeah, no, I think this is all really fantastic. Okay, so animation, all right, so we did speak on some animation, which is coming later. I know we know you're working on that. Environmental
Hmm.
storytelling, you have that. Color and value. I mean, color and value, especially, you have a lot of like dark tones, warm tones. So it does feel, I mean, not so warm, but you do have warm lighting, so that fire is really giving off that doomy and gloomy feel, which is nice. So you're going down a really perilous journey in this dungeon crawler. Okay, so Chixie says, "Can you give us an example of a world with a great cutscene? I would love to see an example of that." You know, cutscene in a world right now, the only thing that really comes close, to be honest with you, is Damiak's game with his spaced out game. The way it starts off, he does have like what would a cutscene look like? That's what he has. It's a great example, especially how he did it there. If you have not seen that game, it's super cool. It's on mobile. It's called Spaced Out. And I could actually find you the link too. We use them a lot in portals too. I have don't yell at me, but I have not played that one yet. So.
I'm
I
shocked.
know.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm busy. I will play it though. Now that I said it out loud, I will play it. All right. Check this one out. Award winning. All righty, cool. But let's see.
And just so you know, Portals was second to his first. So, we were right
Oh,
there.
there
We
you
were right
go.
there. We were
There you
right
go.
there.
Which is also award winning, of course, of course. All right. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay. So hold on a second. Tractor Tank said it's quite an ambitious looking game. I could see growing out in many different directions. He could totally take this to many different ways. He could even do like different chapters in different worlds too. So like maybe this is book 1, chapter 1 or whatever. Like Josh can definitely like this one is in the dungeon. You could do like you could continue on to like maybe like after the dungeon you got like you went under the dungeon and then there's caves. Like what would be under the dungeon? That would be like super scary and crazy, or like maybe like you conquered the dungeon and like you're outside, you could just continue the story in different ways, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in one world. You could utilize multiple worlds to tell your story too. So I mean you know you take it as far as you want because this is your baby. Let's see. Janeko says the throne room's grand scale makes it difficult to furnish vibrantly. Reducing its size would foster a cozier, more inviting feel. I do agree. I do agree. Like making spaces smaller so that you can fill the game area some more would help. However, it really depends on the gameplay, right? It really depends on the movement of that actual. I don't know what it is. Is it an orc, a troll, a goblin, whatever that character is? Like giving it some more room to move and swing at you. It depends on how fast he goes and how far you want your characters to run, because you're going to want space to run. And I'm specifically thinking about Citadel with that spider creature that you play. There's a lot of room, and then you have a lot of vertical room to go. So like that, that gives extra space to run away from this creature, you know? So like you could do a lot with a bigger space. Like you don't necessarily need to furnish that one, especially if it's a place to fight enemies. Sometimes you need that extra room, especially for a bigger character. Okay, so hold on a second. I'm gonna go down the list. I'd argue dungeons aren't supposed to be inviting, except for except if you're the one running it. Remember, Dungeon Keeper. I have planned waves of enemies in that area. See, exactly. So you kind of need some room for the waves of enemies, but Citadel has details and levels instead of the flat plane. Yes, it does. So like I said, with that spider character, you have you don't have a flat plane, you have more of a vertical plane space, right? Whereas this one, instead of being vertical, you're horizontal. So you have all that same plane space like right there. So it's like it really depends on how fast this enemy is playing, you know, yeah, you have plenty of room to wiggle and dance around, and especially if you're inviting more people to play with you. I think he said he has a capacity of 18 people. You're gonna have to have this space for all these people to fight instead of having everybody fight on top of each other, which can get all crazy and jumbled up. I don't know. I mean, you're the artist, you season to taste, and once you actually make these characters move and fight, like, you know, that's where you do the adjustments and stuff. So some areas ought to be inviting to draw the player on. Yes. Oh, for sure. So like maybe like in the area before, like maybe the area before the fight, you have some things that will continue on to tell that story, and then you can have all the detailed elements too. But then when that door opens, it's game on. Like you're not
Yeah,
looking
and I
at
mean
details, you're
in the
running.
in the dungeon in the labyrinth area before, there's 32 separate rooms that are explored, and a lot of them are going to be much more detailed and,
Right, right.
provide that. Yeah.
Right, right. Exactly. So like I feel like no, like something's trying to kill me. Let me stop and look at the flowers. No, you're running. So I don't feel like you need that much detail in the arena. That's all, that's where my brain's at. It is smart to start the world large, and it is a lot easier to shrink a space than to grow it. Yes. Yes, for sure. I mean, and while you build, you just adjust. That's all. Looking forward to seeing some more of this game. Okay, the pressure's on, Josh. Let's go. Finish the game. Yes, thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next workshop. All right. See you later and have a great week, guys. Bye.